Oh, I went backwards. Please get out. There we go. How you guys doing? A few of you out there. If you ever make it to New Orleans, and you're like me and you like pizza, this is where you go. Theo's Pizza. I think there's 3 locations. There's one right by me here in Mid-City. That's what you want. That's the place. And as, I don't know, weird or what's the term I'm looking for? Inappropriate, not mannerly. I'm gonna eat. The camera keeps having trouble focusing. I'm eating. Who'd have thunk it? It's not politically correct. I've turned all I've done is turn the monitor and the camera around. If I turn it the other way, then you get to see the little window unit and the couch and the guitar. And I thought, just turn it 180 degrees, and then you get a little bit better background here. And then you get the scary skeleton cat, right? I got this a few Halloweens ago. This is the Boo Scary shelf. Bats and skeleton and Frankenstein over there. Man, I can move him. Frankenstein. I'm a nut job. I don't make no sense to myself. Hey, Kirk, how are you, buddy? What's new with everybody? You guys playing anything, doing anything? What's good? What's bad? What's going on with you? There's another reason I'm doing this. Not for the eating part, which is probably pretty gross. But, as I eat with my mouth full, right? Still here, hold on. Trying to find something. Alright. So I had a question posed to me and was asked to make a video, and I thought, well, I'll just live stream Saturday. Like Dan says, where else you gonna go? What do you have to do? Question was regarding this game table I got over here and the cutout hexes I currently have on it that I've been using for the Commands and Colors / Battles of Napoleon mashup I've been doing. How did I do that, right? And if you have trouble hearing me, please let me know, because I got a window unit going, I got music going, I got the voices in my head going as usual. If any of that is too loud, give me a holler and I'll amend accordingly. So, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back to maybe the video before this, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But all I did was you can get a roll of this. This is, I don't know what this stuff is that's on it. It's very thin. It's like a slick, almost vinyl backing. I don't know that it's vinyl. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And I don't know what they sprayed something on here that's like terrain, right? It's for like a train layout scene. You can get this at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, or I know for sure Hobby Lobby. You can order it online, get a roll of it. I don't think it's enough to cover my table, which is 6x5 or something like that. Might need 2 or 3 rolls. But anyway, You want a roll of this to lay as your foundation, because that helps when you cut out your hexes and lay them down. It holds them in place, so you don't want a slick surface for these guys. So you want to roll that at least, maybe 2 rolls. And you want to get some of this black foam board. It comes in 8.5 by 11 sheets. And then you decide upon what size hexes you want, and you measure them out. And when you figure out what you want, you make a template. At least that's what I did. Your template's going to look like this. This is something I made a while ago. I'm not exactly sure how I decided on this size. Here's my hand next to it. That's the size. So I cut out, this is plexiglass that you can get for like a poster frame, and I glued a little block on it to hold it. And if I remember correctly, and I did this a while ago, and you get your sheet and you lay this down, and you get a marker and you outline it and scissor it out. Now, you can take an X-Acto blade and cut these out, but you have to be careful. If your X-Acto is new or too sharp, it'll actually kind of start to cut the edges of the plexiglass template, which I've done accidentally most recently. So if you use the marker and the scissors method, you don't risk that. It's an extra step, but I guess it's up to you what you want to do, how you want to work that. Once you've done that, you cut your black out. You're going to get a glue stick or some spray adhesive and spray the cutout foam hex and stick it on this stuff, and then you're going to cut it out again, and then you end up with this. You really need a template because you don't want these guys to be different sizes, even if it's off just slightly. It's going to screw everything up when you lay all of these out on the table. And you just, one by one, cut these out. I don't know how long it took me to do the table that I have currently. Again, I did this a while ago. I don't exactly remember, but it took a while. God, this stuff's so good. So that's basically how you do it. If you want to variate, you can. I've been notorious for blowing up Conflict of Heroes game boards and making the maps big enough that I can superimpose, print it out and superimpose terrain features on these hexes. I've done that with the wheat field. I don't know if there's a copyright infringement there. I'm hoping not. I mean, I'm not selling these, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, you can do, so you could get wheat fields instead of just a grass terrain there. You can get whatever you want. And then I'm sure I've already mentioned this, but in addition to that, this is actually a fun game. I'm not going to lie. This is not a war game. It's like a strategy, abstract strategy game, Cathedral. It's fun to play, 2-player. It goes fast. You can knock out 5 or 6 games at a bar or something, even if you wanted to bring this to like a game cafe or something like that. But this is also good for to represent buildings on the game table. So I've done this for a while now. I mean, you even got a gray building that could be your church. You know, it's up to you. The scale, I don't think is ever going to be perfect when you mix this stuff up, mix and match. But as long as you have something that's 3-dimensional, that looks halfway decent to represent what you want, I mean, that's all that matters, right? You've got dark and you've got light. I tend to use the dark buildings. It's up to you. And again, this is actually a fun game to play, so there's that too. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. What else we got? What are other things that I use and are useful? Oh, and I should add the streams and the roads. The roads are just, you find the colored cardstock you want and just cut. Now, there's no turns or bends. They're all very angular. So it's up to you if you want to cut bends and turns. And the streams, I have conformed to the hex layout. So they're really supposed to align a hex as they go through. So those are a little more difficult. It takes a little getting used to at start. To cut those right, what you do is you get your colored paper that you want, construction paper, and you lay a few hexes, a few of these guys, on the paper, and just draw along the edge of 2 or 3 of these, and then cut out widthwise along that line, and there's your stream. And just continue doing that and connecting those. That's how you get the streams and the roads. Some other things that I use that come in handy. This is from a Risk game. Also, obviously the figures that I've been using lately, if you see in the other video, are from a Risk game. This is from, I don't know what version. It's like a newer, one of the later, newer Risk game versions. And these are just almost priceless when it comes to marking units that like wish to fire or have fired or going to move or have moved. Just little arrows. I tend to use the red ones, the small red ones. You could use little red blocks. I use those as well. The reason I use these is because it's not that I have amnesia, but it's somewhat oftentimes difficult to keep track of everything that's going on and to help you along the way. Sometimes it pays to use those to mark things so you know what you've done, what you haven't done, etc., things like that. I mean, look at this, right? It's not bad. It's a large, and my skinny little frame will down the whole thing here eventually. No problem with the appetite. And I got a free iced tea. They miss me so much. Hey, you want iced tea? That's how often I go there. Yes, I want iced tea. So I got a free iced tea. Another thing I'd like to add that I've also said in the past, again, broken record here. If you don't want to use the little figures, you don't feel like fiddling with them, painting them, etc., you can use blocks. Commands and colors blocks work the same way. The labels that come with commands and colors, I really dislike. I don't like the artwork on them. I've gone on record as saying that already. So I just print out little tiny abbreviated labels on cardstock, like for line it would be LN, and that's how I mark my units. You can change those around as needed. Yeah, because I really dislike the artwork. It's a shame too, because it seems like it could have gone the other way. The commands and colors artwork for their labels is just, I don't like it. So storage-wise, this is a I don't even know if you can still get this size. It's called Art Bin. Art BIN, all one word, and it's thin. Maybe I've already shown this. I think I did, so bear with me. But for storage-wise, for the guys, this is what I got. So this would be, that's all your British. Let me move the camera temporarily. All right, guys, there's your British and Portuguese in there. So that's how we got that working. And then I have 3 of these. So one for the Austrians, one for the Russians. I actually need 2 more of these, which worries me because I like consistency. I don't want to find these same ones again. Because I now I need one for, once I switch it up, the French no longer have a home, and the newly acquired Prussians are also homeless. So a couple more of those would do fine. Iced tea. Jesus, I just drank out of a straw. I never use straws, ever. Ever. I got tricked. Never use straws. What else is going on? So I'm not hearing much from you guys. What's going on with me? Monday, I should be getting the newest ASL starter kit expansion. I don't even remember the damn name of it. MMP took it off their site as they normally do. When something's getting ready to ship, you can no longer see it on the site. However, I don't know if this is because of the corona or coming out of corona, but usually when you order from MMP, you do not get a tracking number. It drives me batty up the wall nuts. I don't get it. You never get a tracking number with something when it ships from MMP. This time, however, was different. Yeah, it's not there right now. When I got notification, it wasn't even from MMP. It was from Joanne Use, I think is her name. It didn't even have MMP attached to it, so it's probably a fluke thing. Still trying to find this. I'm on a different page right now. Here it is. This is the starter kit expansion pack number 2, right? The one with the fly in here. This consists of 2 mat boards, K and I, 8 new scenarios set in locales such as China, Burma, Java, and New Guinea. So it continues the introduction of the Japanese that was started in ASL starter kit number 4, but this time with new opponents. We have Chinese, right? So you get some overlays, ordnance, and vehicles notes. This does not come with everything you need to play, so you will need the starter kit expansion pack 2, I guess? No, I'm sorry. They are assuming ownership of starter kit 1, starter kit 2, starter kit 3, and starter kit 4. While expansion pack 2 includes counters for Chinese, Japanese, British, Filipino. I had a really good friend where I used to work in Colombia. It was Filipino. And Dutch units. It relies upon these core starter kit modules to provide additional unit and information counters. It says thus giving players a low-cost method for introducing the Chinese and for expanding the range of combat Pacific theater of operations. So I have that en route. Should be here Monday. I'll have an unboxing for you there. Viper Dave, how you doing, buddy? Rob Frank, welcome, sir. Good to see you folks, or good to read you folks. I've got enough pizza for everybody, but I haven't figured out how to. No, I see, that's the thing. I didn't decorate anything. All I did was turn the monitor 180 degrees. Because if where I sit normally on the couch, so when I sit, this is what I see where I sit. But you guys see the window unit and the stupid broken couch that's falling apart. It's really a mess back there. I shouldn't have never let anybody see it ever. So for a better background, I decided if I just turn the monitor and the camera 180 degrees, this is infinitely better than what we had going there. What else? Oh, Jesus. The other thing I have on pre-order is also from MVP. Wow, shocker. Stop the presses. Is this Race for Bastogne. Now that's the Grand Tactical Series. I have, I think, everything but one game in that series. It's not cheap, but if you don't pre-order it, it's going to be even not cheaper. Does that make sense? As I look at the page here, This is the, well, is what it says it is. It deals with Bastogne. So I think the Grand Tactical Series is perfect for a Bastogne game. And yes, there's 10,000 million, 100 billion Battle of the Bulge games, but you know, when you introduce a system like GTS, you got to run with it. It's got wheels, man. That system's got wheels, and I want it. Yeah, let's do it. So I pre-ordered that as well. I keep waiting for yeah, expensive wood. Go figure. Does everything seem more expensive in Europe and England? That's what it seems like. Oh, I lost my train of thought. I was going to. Oh man. There was something else I was gonna game wise. Oh yeah, New England Simulations. I've had my eye on this game for a long time. Keep waiting. It keeps getting pushed back. Now they just released Jaws of Victory, but I have to say, it's my understanding that this winner's victory, the Battle of Prussia Eylau, has been on the burner for a long time, and then Jaws of Victory shows up, the Coruscant game, and gets published and released while we're still waiting on Winner's Victory. So I don't know what the hell's going on with Winner's Victory. Again, if it's a syndrome of they want this thing to be perfect, which it's fine. I'm all for it. Perfection is good upon release, and it's just not there yet. I guess that's what it is. But this is going to be and you know, being a fan of winter battles, Eylau is one of the best winter battles. This is going to be the, in my opinion, definitive game on Eylau. There are a number of games out there, but each of them lack a little something that would make it the game. I think this is going to have everything and more. But it's huge, so there's that. I mean, I'm wondering if they're going to offer smaller scenarios. Now, God bless OCS system. Some people don't realize that with the Operational Combat Series games, you're going to get a monster game, yes, but it does offer smaller scenarios that are playable by one person without losing sanity, right? So I'm wondering if Winner's Victory is going to offer the same thing, smaller scenarios. I don't know. But 4 25.5 by 33-inch color map sheets and over 2,500 counters. Now, Jesus Lord. No, I won't be clipping those counters. I don't clip counters anyway, although I'm not opposed to the look, the end result. I guess I don't have that level of tediousness in me. So I'm waiting on that, and as soon as I get the go-ahead, so now right now it's a projected release of fall 2020. I don't think that's written in stone, and as I said, the date for this has been pushed back already. I wouldn't put it past them to do it again. And again, what I'm referring to is Winner's Victory. This is a New England Simulations production, so head over to their page and take a look. For those of you that are interested. So there's that. Jaws of Victory, it does look good. I haven't felt the inclination to purchase that. Well, I say it's probably more game than I want, but Winner's Victory is probably just as much, if not more, so I can't use that argument. You know, I guess I have enough East Front games at this point. I don't know. Yeah, Jaws of Victory, but trying to get a price. I'm looking at the site again here. Well, at least they offer. See, I love when companies do this. Every company should do this. I don't see a problem with this. You can click on the rule book for Jaws of Victory and take a look at that and see if it's in your wheelhouse. Instead of flying in blind and blowing a bunch of money and deciding this isn't for me, I guess there's maybe a video on YouTube regarding the thing. And then GMT Games. I want to say I had something on pre-order with them. Looking at that site right now as well. I did have, no, Beneath the Med, but I mean, do I need a fourth sub game? No. I think 3's enough at this point. I do like Flying Colors. I've never done the naval ship battle thing, especially the ancient, well, not ancient, but Black Powder era naval battles thing, and I think that would be could be interesting. A Time for Trumpets. There's another Bulge game coming out. I'm going to take a pass on that. Share of East Front games. You know those damn Barbarossa Army Group Center, Army Group North, Army Group South. Those things are still in demand. They fetch a high price on eBay, but they're re-releasing these, I guess. But I'll pass on those as well. Get yet another Commands and Colors Napoleonic expansion. This would be number 7, Le Grand Battles. But you need a whole gang of people to play it, in my opinion. Well, it's not a one-person deal. We have Mr. President, my poor brothers, waiting on Mr. President. But that thing's got over 2,000 orders now. What else? Anything else? Last 100 Yards, Volume 2. I don't recall how well the first Last 100 Yards did. I want to think, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I want to think it didn't do quite as good as I thought it would, or I'm mistaken. I'm probably mistaken. Tank Duel Expansion 1, North Africa. That looks interesting. Then Russian Campaign, I had that on pre-order and I canceled it. I got cold feet and I thought, you know, I already had the thing. So I have better components, but I think there are going to be some adjustments to the thing such that you might want to pick this up because it is going to be different than the original. And I guess I don't have that. That said, I don't think I have any pre-orders with GMT. Nothing that really reaches out and grabs me. I keep looking at Commands and Colors Ancients, but I mean, how much Commands and Colors crap do you need? Grab Battles of History stuff for Ancients, that's tempted me. I don't have to go ahead and do it, but I had No Retreat the Russian Front and sold it, so that's how much I liked that. So that's it for GMT Games. Yeah, Simonich he does good stuff. It's what's the saying? It's not too much. It's not too little. His games are they're solid. Yeah, Arden 44. You liked Red Winter, huh? I have to say the Finnish Winter War conflict, not just because it's winter and snow, which I'm a sucker for. I have to say, though, I'm very enthralled by Finland battle, World War II stuff, and earlier. You know, there's an argument that could be made. I don't know how strong the argument is, but there's an argument that could be made that one of the reasons Hitler decided to go into the Eastern Front is because he saw how hard it was for the Russians to defeat a little nation like Finland, and he thought, Jesus, if they can't even roll into Finland and do anything, and I think he said this, one swift kick and the whole roof's going to cave in on Russia if we roll in there. So I think that helped him as far as a deciding factor to invade Russia when he saw how they had so much trouble with Finland. But that's taking away from Finland's ability to do what they did. It wasn't just that Russia sucked. The Finnish were, pardon my French, and the cliche, the Finnish were badass, I guess you could put it. Yeah, the Russians it took a number of years for the Russians to get up to speed with their strategy and tactics such that they could become an effective overall encompassing fighting force. And really, um, the defeats that they suffered in the initial part of the German invasion in the Eastern Front were losses, but they were also instances of learning, and the Russians paid attention, and they were learning as they lost until they could do just as the same things the Germans were doing, just as well, if not better, with more troops and more stuff, right? So they were that more effective in what the Germans did with more material. Eating on camera. But I hadn't eaten all day. Well, I guess I could have waited to do this till after I eat, but I usually watch something anyway and I eat. I thought I might as well do this. Rode the bike again today on the route, and it's about the only cardio exercise I get. I refuse to go to the gym, so. Still doing yoga, so there's that. Let me think if there's anything else that I want to get off my chest. Think of anything else offhand. You guys eat and game at the same time? You risk getting stuff all over your counters and whatnot. I've talked to people that they refuse to have certain food, like if they have people over. Yeah, Greece, right? They refuse to serve certain food, so like pizza would be out. No, absolutely not. Because little greasy fingers handling counters is not a good recipe. Potato chips are bad. More grease. I guess that's why booze is good. You don't even have to touch it. You just drink it, right? So, Rob, and I guess this goes for everybody, do you have a certain era or theater of operation that interests you the most, more so than, say, another one? Great Battle of History. You mean like GMT series, Great Battles of History, that series? Yeah, I haven't messed with it at all. I've been tempted. I mean, once you learn the system, right, you've got a lot of games that you can dive into. Again, yeah, my interest hasn't been such that it's caused me to dive into it, but the interest is slowly growing in that stuff. I don't know much about it, and when I see certain things and read certain things, my interest peaks. So that's a good way to put it. Ancient ASL, Great Battles of History. And you, sir, would make a good salesman, because that's a way to sell me something right there. I'm gonna ask another question. How about how do you guys feel about miniatures versus cardboard? Can you juggle both at the same time, or do you feel like if you do one, you're cheating on the other? So you just stick to the one all the time, or you just hate one and love the other? I feel like I feel like it can easily bounce back and forth between the two, but sometimes I get on these tears and I just want to do the one thing for probably longer than other people want to watch. So like with this Napoleonic miniature stuff I've been doing, I feel like it's interesting enough to somebody. But again, for somebody that is into the World War II cardboard stuff, which is really my bread and butter for this channel, I almost feel pressured sometimes to do that and not other things. But you got to change it up sometimes, you know? I mean, you can't do the same thing all the time. I think with the miniatures thing, there is, for whatever reason, it lends itself more easily to customization, house rules, and stuff like that. It has more of a creative aspect to it, I think. I think that's not uncommon, Rob. A lot of us have so many different things and have tried so many different things, but at the end of the day, there's really one or two systems that we consistently come back to and enjoy, and it's like we can just relax and kick our shoes off and sit back in those systems, you know. All right, Rob, take care, buddy. Don't do anything you wouldn't do. Talk to you next time. What I need to do is, I haven't even put this on camera yet. I've had it for a while now. I need to dive into this. Now, this is a hell of a project. This is not anything that is something you can do in, say, a day or so. And for one person to make this functional, you're looking at least a month playing this thing. Speaking of Used, looks like Joe Used did the map art for this. This is a Dana Lombardi design. I think L2 is Dana's company. Number of games under his belt. But this thing's had a number of iterations, and there was an attempted, more recent edition that I think fell through the cracks. I don't remember why. But whoever I purchased this from had already saved me the trouble of punching and clipping the counters and labeling everything, so it's all ready to go should I decide to make this a reality at some point. Boy, this is a heavy weight of a game, man. I'll tell you what. This thing almost scares me. And this is a played copy. I can tell this dude played it, whoever had it. Bags of informational counters, hedgehogs, etc. So he's got, well, the game comes with, obviously, the original rule book, which looks like he got it wet somehow. Probably reading in the bathtub like I do. And then Streets of Stalingrad version 2.1 rule set. So that's the updated, hopefully lots of errata ironed out rule book. This is actually the historical commentary that got wet. And then the original rule book here. So for somebody that is into Stalingrad, that's your thing, I would call this a grail game. What's for me? It's at this point more of a trophy than something I have enjoyed playing wise. Wow, okay. I would add that this rule book is pretty intense. I mean, there are no illustrations, no examples, just rules, just text. All kinds of charts, things that the original owners printed out. Tons of stuff. I mean, this guy devoted a lot of time to learning and playing this game. Look at this. Q&A and errata. He printed it out and stapled it together, bound it together. 31 pages. My God. So once you learn the rules, then you have to read 31 pages of errata. And, okay, so I take that back. Here's a playbook, examples of play right there. With your color illustrations and things and whatnots of that nature and sort. Oh, yeah, these are all the charts and things. Mountain of material already, and we haven't even gotten to the maps. Which are, in my opinion, top of the line. Let's see if I can. I'm going to open it all the way, but here's a for instance. This is one of the maps, right? We get 1, 2. I wonder if this even fits. Yeah, this barely would even fit on my table. All right, so 3 maps. Yeah, this will fit. I like how they do the scenarios. Look what they've got here for the scenario. So, for instance, scenario 5G. This is huge. But you can set everything up right on the page there and get ready. Pretty cool. Got a number of these, front and back printed, for the Germans and for the Russians. Then you've got he's laminated some things. I mean, this guy, this was his baby, man. We got a laminated chart there. It'd be funny if somebody sees this video and they're like, that was my copy. I loved her like a wife. Just stuff. I mean, just. This game scares me though. I don't know that I have it in me to learn and play this. Well, why do I have it? Well, I can't explain everything adequately for you guys regarding my decision-making processes. Maybe I had every intention of playing this, and maybe I still do someday. But that day isn't anywhere close. So yeah, this is, I'm ashamed to say, or whatever, this is pretty much a trophy at this point, more so than something that will hit the table. So there's that. It looks like we've lost anybody willing to chat again. So, you know, even though the format is such that it's really geared up just to see and hear me, I mean, it's not quite as much fun if nobody's chatting. So maybe I'll cut you guys loose, finish this pizza here, and go about the Saturday night. All right. You guys take care. If you have any questions, comments, go ahead and put them on the bottom of this video. If you're watching any of my videos, and at least halfway enjoying them, and haven't subscribed, consider doing so. Your wildest, craziest dreams will come true if you do. All right, guys. Bye-bye.